if I had to start over on Instagram as an author, this is exactly how I would go from zero to selling a lot more books. So I want to provide you with the exact framework of how I use both my skills in marketing and psychology to build up a momentum where you can actually get readers to find your books and buy them. And the important thing here is that we want to work smarter, not harder, because I know that a lot of authors out there are struggling with social media and anxiety, and they don't want to show their face and stuff. And I get that it can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. So in this video, I am going to provide you with a 3-month strategy where you will go from not knowing what you're doing to becoming a pro, where you will be confident in what you're posting and it won't be that much of an effort. And this is something that you can do long term so that you will sell more books. I will also share insights to what kind of format you should post to reach different kinds of goals. And I'm going to talk about some of the mistakes I see authors making on Instagram. You don't want to miss that. That comes at the end of the video. The timestamps are below if you want to click your way to any part of this video. But first, let's start off with the 3-month strategy. So the first 30 days, I want you to focus on ideation and research. It's very important that we understand the platforms that we want to optimize for, but also that we understand what works for other people within the same niche as we are. I know that a lot of authors love to post on Instagram, both because it doesn't demand, we don't have to create videos all the time like on TikTok and YouTube. And it's a lot more flexible, but also a lot of us have our target audience there. I know I do with my romance novels and some of my fantasy novels, even though a bigger chunk of my audience for my fantasy writing is on TikTok. That's why I am currently active on both platforms. And understanding what works for authors within the same genre as you are, that is the key to, so that you won't have to do as much experimenting, as much work to get the same results. So during these first 30 days, I want you to do research. Look at what other authors within your genre are posting. Are they posting photos of other books within the same genre? Are they posting quotes from their books? Are they posting memes where they're showing what it feels like to read their videos? Save everything that inspires you and that you feel like, okay, well, I could probably make a video like this, or I could probably make a post like this. I want you to save everything you find for later. On my own account, I have different folders in my Instagram where I've saved things that has to do with my writing, that has to do with reading, that has to do with inspiration and motivation, but also things that are like that makes me think of different book projects that I'm working on. So I even have a folder for a book that I haven't started writing yet, but I know that it's I'm going to write it. It's a part of the expats romance collection I'm writing. So I know that it will probably be book 4 or 5 in that collection. So I will eventually get to it. And when I get to it, now I have a folder with things that has inspired me and made me think about that story, which means that I can create content around it. And I want you to start doing this too, because this is how you think like a marketer, how you think like someone who is a creator. And like the reason why you're watching this video, the reason why you want to sell more books, that also means that you need to take like a more professional strive when it comes to this. Like if you're just posting for fun on Instagram, then this video is not for you, because then you could post about whatever you want to. You can post about your dog, your family, your book, and don't think about the strategy, because your goal is not to sell books. But if you want to sell books, then you need to approach this like a professional, like a business person. And what do we do in business? We do research. So make as much research as you can within your genre. and also figuring out what makes your target audience tick. Like, do they really, really love the idea of, I don't know, coffee shops and bakeries? Well, maybe you write a romance novel that takes place in a bakery. Then that is perfect inspiration for that you can use for later when you're going to post. So the more you know about them, the better. And during this time, I also want you to start defining your personal brand. This might be one of the most crucial steps when it comes to you being recognized in the long run. So take your time here and actually think about it. For me, I primarily write fantasy, romance, and nonfiction, which I know it's a bit broad, but it is what it is. But my personal brand, a lot of it has to do with my beret. I've been wearing a beret for I don't even know how long now, but ever since I became an author, this has become very, like, people recognize me when I wear my beret. I went to the Swedish book fair, and one of the days I didn't wear a beret, and the other one I did wear a beret. And the day that I wore my beret, a lot more people came over to me and talked to me and recognized me from social media. So that is very significant to my personal brand. And if you have some sort of visual cue, that's amazing. You don't have to though, but you need to know what kind of brand colors you're using. If you want your visuals, the visuals you post to be like bright and inspiring or dark and moody. This also has to do with like the genre you're writing. If you're writing psychology, a dark horror or thrillers, then maybe you should go with a more dark vibe theme. Or if you write romance, then maybe it should be more upbeat and colorful. You need to decide, because this is also something that you will come back to later when you start creating a lot more content. If you don't know where to start here, I recommend that you go to Pinterest and search for, I think you can just go in and search for different vibes on Instagram, and like look at the visuals and see what resonates with you and the genres that you're writing in. Also there you can save inspiration for your Instagram. I also have multiple folders on my Pinterest where I have inspiration for, photo shoots I'm gonna make, for flat lace that I want to take off my books and stuff like that, because it's a lot easier to just have it ready there. So when I'm going to do those things, I know what to do instead of trying to invent the wheel again and again and again. And another important thing you should do is to optimize your profile. So first of all, I think you should have a photo of your face. Yes, you should have a photo of your face, because it's so much easier for us to remember what a face looks like than it is to remember a logo or a book cover. Those may change, but as humans, we have an easier time relating to faces. It's the same with when you create content. It's easier for us to remember if you use it and make a video of you talking about your book than just showing the book. So have preferably a professional photo of your face, author photo, as your profile picture. That's the best one. And I mean, I hired a photographer when I launched my first book to just get professional photos for PR and for my website, for my social media and stuff like that. So if you can do that, do that. But otherwise, it's fairly easy to do it with a smartphone back home also. You just need good lighting and a good background. And also here, if you want inspiration, just search for it on Pinterest. But now that you have your profile picture done, you should think about the name you're putting in the bio. Like for me, I think I have Natalie Forslind, author and Growth Markter. I don't know, I think so. But because on my Instagram, I am, of course, I'm an author and I talk a lot about my books and stuff like that. But I also share a lot of advice on how writers can sell more books using social media and how they can learn how to grow on social media because they think it's hard to do marketing, and I get that, and I am an expert in that, so I want to share advice on that on my Instagram. So I think I have something with both, because the thing with our profile, why we want to optimize it so much, is also because it has to do with search. A lot more people are searching on social media today and looking for stuff than before, and these fields are actually searchable. So if you write Natalie, fantasy author, then if people are looking for fantasy authors, chances are that they will find my content or my profile. And the same with the bio. There, just don't put down the titles of your book. Try to write what you offer. Like when someone goes into your profile, usually nowadays we more and more use social media as a way to entertain ourselves. So people want to know what they will get from following you. Think about that. What you can provide to them. I know you want to sell your books, so that is what you can get from them. But what are you giving them? Because first you will have to give something to the potential reader, and then they will go and buy. So this is what you need to think of when you're optimizing your profile. So fantasy author that shares stories about how to get over grief or whatever your niche is, but try to make it as good as possible. And also here you will have, like, since you've been doing research when looking at other authors' accounts, which ones of these accounts inspired you the most and made you want to follow them. Take inspiration from that and optimize it accordingly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes here, because you can optimize, like you can redo it later. So don't overthink it, but try to make it as good as possible. And also, if you already have a book out or a lead magnet or something like that, it's great to put that in the link in the bio. So I know that some time ago, before I released my fantasy book Library of Eternity, I had a lead magnet with a short story called Alien Song that I gave away for free for people who signed up for my newsletter. And this was like the perfect opportunity for me to get more people, both like give them a taste of what Library of Eternity is like, but also to get them to subscribe to my newsletter. Because the more people who subscribe there, the bigger chances are that they will buy the books when they are released. So that's what I did, and that is exactly what you can do too. So yeah, have a good look at your profile and optimize it as well as possible. Also, during these first 30 days, if I started out from scratch, I'm going to be honest and say I would probably post as much as possible, and within my niche, of course. So within the niche of being an author and being a writer. But I would just experiment and post to see what sort of sticks, and also to get some data in. So that's all for the first month. Let's move on to month number 2. This is the month of creation. This is the time when you're actually going to create as much as possible, but not only create, you're also going to be a lot more mindful about it. So this is the month where you're actually starting to decide on which kind of content pillars that you want to have for your account. And if you're new to my channel and don't know what a content pillar is, it is basically a theme that you keep on coming back to again and again and again. So for my own Instagram, I think I don't remember if I have 4 content pillars or what I have, but I have a plan in Notion where I just say on Mondays I'm going to post a carousel with short and easy marketing tips for people, for other authors who want to learn more about marketing. On Tuesday I would want to post, I don't remember, behind the scenes, what it's like being an author. On Wednesday I'm going to post some sort of promotional content for my books. On Fridays I think it's a trending reel. I don't remember. One day it's a talking head video. But I have content pillars that I keep on going back to, and one of them is marketing for authors. The other one is about my own authorship and my own writing. And also here I share like examples of when I've implemented my own strategies, and I talk about how it went, because I want to share behind the scenes. It's not easy. Like, it will take time for you to grow. It will take time for you to sell more books, but we're here for it in the long run. And that is what I want to share behind the scenes also. But also success stories, like when I launched my book and I had to do a reprint really fast within a month because the first print ran out. Felt amazing, yeah. So I will share stuff like that too. No, I don't have that much advice on what book advice, but that, like, if you are a big reader, sharing book advice and books within the same genre is a great content pillar to come back to, because that will bring in readers who will follow you on your account. But also during the second month now, like, you want to create content in these content pillars as much as possible, but with each and every single post that you post, I want you to become 1% better. If you can improve just 1% with each and every single post, it won't, like, this is how we work, smarter, not harder. This is how you eventually will be able to see rapid growth. This is how you will get that first viral video. The goal is not to go viral, but going viral helps for you to grow exponentially and to get more eyeballs on your content, of course. So if you try to improve something each and every single time, that is how you in the long run will become a lot better. So say that the first, like, you're going to film a talking head video, just like not stuttering and becoming more comfortable talking on camera. It's not that hard to do, like 1%. Doing 10% better might be hard, but 1% not that hard. And the next time when you become more comfortable talking on camera, maybe you make an effort and take a little bit extra time to make sure that the auto caption is actually spelled correctly. That's it. Just post it. And the next time you make sure that the lighting is a little bit better. The time after that, you make sure that you have a really beautiful backdrop. Maybe you show up your bookcase or something that other writers and readers can relate to. Small steps in the right direction is all I'm asking for. And this also will come back, because not only in videos should you improve, but in the way you take photos, in the way you make carousels, in the way you post your stories. Small steps. And also during creation month, I want you to start looking at your data. So during the first month, you just posted whatever and did whatever. But now that you want to improve and create better content, look at the data. See which posts gave you more followers than the rest. What can you do to repeat that pattern? It's a perfect way to, like, trying to understand what your audience actually likes. And yeah, I know it's hard. So you're going to come back to this. You're going to come back to this in month 3 too. And speaking of optimizing in the third month of your growth journey on Instagram, this is when I want you to actually dig deeper into your data. You need to have a growth mindset and look at what gave you the most followers, what gave you the most engagement. Start trying, like, you have to start understanding the algorithm. Does hashtag even work for you? What kind of captions did you use that people are actually searching for? what kind of bio or text under the post did you use that actually performed well? Try and look and see the patterns and create a strategy for you going forward. Because now we're trying to do everything so that we can do this in the long haul. And here I also want you to decide roughly how many times a week are you going to post? Are you going to post every day? What kind of posts are you going to do? Will it be 2 carousels, 3 posts and 2 videos? Or will it be 1 of each? Take the time to create a strategy that you think that you can actually do. But I do want to challenge you to don't put a lower number here. If you think you can post each and every single day, please do, because that is how you will grow faster. I actually use Facebook Business Suite to just schedule most of my content on Instagram. I schedule everything except for my reels in Business Suite, so my carousels and my posts. Reels I schedule within the Instagram app because that works better for me. Stories I don't schedule, I just post them live each and every single day, or those days that I post stories. But you can actually schedule up to, I think it's 28 days or something in advance. So not having the time to post, that's not, no. You need to start optimizing and start learning, but also creating a strategy. So for me, Sunday, I create content, Sundays. So usually I'll just make the content with the help of, I have templates in Canva with my brand colors that I reuse and just add new content in it, which means that every single Monday you will see the same type of carousel from me, because that is something that I see performs really, really well for me. And people seem to love it. They share it in their stories. They save it for later. And I love it. So I'm going to keep on posting that. You need to start creating these things yourself so that it becomes manageable in the long run. And speaking of what kind of posts to make. So at the beginning of the video, I talked about the fact that I see other authors making some mistakes and I don't want you to make them. So here they are. The first mistake I see is that they're not posting consistently. They only start posting whenever they have a new book release. And I'm sorry to say, that's not going to sell books. The algorithms on Instagram, they work in 28-day cycles. So the algorithm will look at the previous 28 days, the data, and see, okay, how many times did Natalie post? What performed well? And depending on if things performed really well, that will give me a boost the following 28 days. And depending on how the content during these days go, that might give me another boost. So it will slowly go upwards or slowly go downwards. But if you don't post for 14 days, boom, you have to restart. You have to rebuild that momentum. 14 days without posting and the algorithm goes away. So this is why it's so important to always keep posting consistently, because you don't just want eyeballs on your content, of course. You want people to engage. You want to create relationships and you want to remind them that you exist. And the second mistake that I see stopping a lot of authors out there is they think they need to have the perfect post when they're posting. And no, you don't, especially not in 2026. The reason why is because there's so much AI generated content, we're actually a bit tired of things looking perfect. We want them to be real, we want them to be raw, we want them to be imperfect. So it's better to post a video when you stutter in the middle and have to restart than refilming the whole thing 3 times. Be authentic, And I dare you to be vulnerable, because that is what people want right now. They want honesty. They want, yeah, they don't want you to have a filter that makes you look perfect, because you can't relate to that. And the last mistake I see people making is that they're not thinking about their social media presence as something to do in the long run. They think that, okay, but I did this for 30 days, nothing happened. Yeah, well, you can't just do it for 30 days and think you're going to sell thousands of books. You may sell thousands of books, but we're doing this for the long run. It's like writing. You have to do it for the long run, strategically, always trying to improve, learning, because also what works for one author may not work for another. This all depends on the audience and on you as the author. So that's why it's very important that you have a growth mindset and you go back and look at the data. I also promised to share what kind of things you should post, what types of posts work for different things. So here it is. Reels are really good for you to reach a broader audience. If you want to reach people who doesn't follow you, if you want to reach potential readers who don't know your book exists, Reels are what you should lean in heavy towards. And the type of posts you can post here are trends, behind the scenes, memes, day in life. You want to entertain people when it comes to your Reels, so look at what other authors or bookstagrammers are posting and recreate it, but with yourself instead of that person, of course. So, and also don't be afraid to use a sound that someone you know used. I do that all the time and create my own version of it, and it's still fun. Carousels are great. Both, like if you add a sound to your carousel, it might show up in the Reels feed as well, which means that carousels have the potential to reach beyond those who already follow you. So remember that it is one of the most underrated formats out there. So here you can have content that teaches people something, or photo dumps. You can have step-by-step guides, or you can share a story about your book, or represent the different characters of your book. Single photos are great when you want to deepen the relationship with those who already follow you, because those posts will primarily be shown to people who already follow you. So here, like the caption that you have under the photo is very important, both for search, but also because people will stop and actually read it. So use this as a way to talk about the ups and downs of being a writer, share personal stuff, not private stuff, but personal stuff, to deepen the relationship. Start conversations by asking people questions back. And last but not least, we have stories. And stories, usually in marketing, we say that stories, that's where your most loyal fan base are, the people who will see your stories. And this is great because this means that you can actually share a little bit more about your life that is not just your writing and your authorship. So here you can show behind the scenes in a day in life, or be a lot more personal and private if you want to. But it's also a perfect opportunity for you to do Q&As, to do polls. Try to activate your audience as much as possible, and don't be afraid to post too much, because as I said, it's the people who care who actually will watch this. And this is also where you will sell your books. So don't post buy my book every single day, but when you actually have a book launch, put in the link there and tell people to buy it. This is basically the masterclass of Instagram for authors, and I hope that you learned something. I'm super curious about how this goes for you. So let me know in the comment which strategy or insight stood out to you the most, or that you didn't already know from before. good luck. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.